Hey there, Dina Falcone, herbalist, educator, the author of Foraging and Feasting and Earthly Bodies and Heavenly Hair. And what is glorious about this very moment is we have Lactuca cereola, that is prickly wild lettuce, in our midst. Now there's a whole lot of talk about wild lettuces out there, and I want to give you an ID lesson on Lactuca cereola, prickly wild lettuce, versus wild lettuce, Lactuca canadensis. We have created 2 other videos about Lactuca canadensis, and you can check those out in our videos. But today we're going to feature this prickly wild lettuce. I'm going to help you learn how to ID it. And so what is this Lactuca cereola used for, this prickly lettuce? It is used as food. It's very bitter, and it is used as medicine, and that's where more of its fame comes from. It's considered wild opium or opium lettuce. It has nothing to do with opium, but it does have mildly analgesic, that means pain reducing, calming qualities. So it's considered a nervine. That's something that tones and feeds the nervous system, and it can help with pain relief and with calming. It isn't opium, and it doesn't have that intensity of a pain reliever as you might think. So that nickname really throws it off. Think of it as prickly lettuce, which is a bitter tasting relative of our cultivated lettuce. It's also in the same family. It's in the Asteraceae, and it's in the same family as radicchio and escarole. And again, those bitter greens, we can use them raw, chopped up in salad. We can cook them. Your palate will dictate how much of these of this prickly lettuce you can actually consume, because it's quite strong in terms of its bitterness. And my preference for eating it is when it's in basal rosette. That means it's low to the ground. It looks more like a dandelion at that point, and those leaves are milder, and that's when I typically eat it, and I'll put it in soup or salad. But really, you can eat any part of the Lactuca cereola that is tender enough and that you enjoy, that isn't too bitter for you. So let's see, let's move over to another spot where this is also growing, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it. It loves to fall over. So there it was lying on the ground, and it also likes to host bindweed, which was growing all over it. So here it is again, this beauty. And where do you typically find it? Well, here we are in a wild garden. So it likes to be in anthropogenic sites where humans are creating the atmosphere, disturbing the soil. It will grow in ditches, in roadsides, in fields, in full sun, part shade. It tolerates many soil types. This is a native of Eurasia. Here's some bindweed. It's a native of Eurasia, so that means it was introduced and now it is all over the world. Hardiness at USDA zones 3 to 10. You're going to find this all over the United States. And this is the more abundant, or one of the more abundant weedy Lactucas. It is much more abundant than the Lactuca canadensis, again, which I referred to earlier, which we have videos on for you to view. So this is the Lactuca cereola, prickly lettuce, and it is considered an invasive, actually, unlike the Lactuca canadensis. And what else to say about this? As you can see the height, it can grow up to about 6 feet. And let's get into some ID for you. And I'd like you to look at the base of the plant, where you're often going to find prickles. And let's cut this lettuce from its base there so we can give you a good ID lesson. You're going to look for prickles that are often on the main stem. Notice that the leaves alternate up the stem, alternate leaf arrangement. Notice how the leaves attach to the stem. They have no stalk of their own, and they are clasping. They are sessile and clasping, and they have the leaf bases have these lobes. And wherever you cut this Lactuca cereola, white milk. Lactuca for milk, lactate, lac for milk. White latex will come wherever you break this plant. Let's show you that the main stem is hollow. I'm going to cut that, cut this, and then just put this through. So you can see that we have a hollow Lactuca cereola main stem. Here we have leaves. This is lower down on the plant, this is coming up higher, and then this is high up on the plant. We can see they are all lanceolate, lance-shaped with pointy tips. They all have pointy tips, and they have these teeth that are also prickly. So the leaf margin has denticles, and it has prickles, and it also has lobes. So you're seeing these lobes. When you get up on the top of the plant, you lose a bit of the lobing. And let's also notice this very strong main vein or mid vein, nice and white. And then if we flip this over, we flip it, you always want to feel the prickles, although on the aerial highest up leaf, it's not very prickly anymore. But lower down, you're always going to feel these pretty intense prickles on the mid vein, on the mid rib. So prickly lettuce for prickles. Got that? Here we have Lactuca cereola's flowering top, and its flowers are yellow, and they're hiding from us right now. But some of them have already bloomed and produced these beautiful seed heads. And these are very much dandelion-like. The flowers themselves look like mini dandelions, and these beautiful seed heads are very much like mini dandelions. Beautiful thing. So hopefully you've got a really good sense of how to ID Lactuca cereola, wild lettuce that's prickly wild lettuce. And this plant is extremely bitter. I believe that you would like to eat it, which is when I like to eat it, when it's not so bitter, which is when it's in basal rosette stage. That means earlier in its growing season. This is an annual to biennial, and it will stay in basal rosette until it shoots up its flower stalk. So when it's in that lower growing period is when it's more like food, but you can eat this anytime it's appealing to you. The bitterness will be an issue and the toughness will be an issue. So how you enjoy it. Medicinally, let's just talk about it therapeutically. So it's a mild analgesic that helps to deal with pain, or a mild anodyne it's called, and it's also a relaxant, so it helps to relax us, or a mild sedative, so it can be used in helping us to sleep. Still, I think of it more as a food, but you can consider it as a medicine, and if you were to play with it medicinally, I would turn it into a tincture, which is probably the most effective way to get it into your body as a pain relieving agent. Again, this is mildly pain relieving. So here you have the beautiful prickly lettuce that you can learn more about, that you can play with, experiment with it, see how much you enjoy eating it. And if you've enjoyed this and you'd like more, check out my online course, Wild Food Health Boosters and Herbal Remedies, at wildfoodhealthboosters.com. See you next time.